Welcome to Ask a Property Manager, episode number 113. We've got an interesting news story for you this week. Coming out of Washington State, a homeowner is looking to remodel their home, and the home builder said no when asked for a set of blueprints. Stay tuned. If you've ever thought about tackling a remodel project somewhere around your home, you've probably also thought about what's inside the walls that you're about to rip into. That's essentially where our story today starts off. We have a homeowner that recently purchased a home and they are looking to do some rehab work, add an addition onto the home, things of that nature. And essentially what happened here is the builder has said no when the homeowner requested a copy of their blueprints from the county. We're going to go ahead and jump into the article here. This one brought to us by the News Tribune out of Washington, written by Josephine Peterson. Title of the article, Pierce County man wants blueprints to his own home. The builder has sued to stop him. I apologize in advance. This website is littered with ads. Normally we run an ad blocker, but the site wouldn't let us, so we have to kind of tolerate it. A Tulalip homeowner needed blueprints for his house for a remodel, but the company who built the home went to court to prevent him from getting them. Oak Ridge Homes filed an injunction with the Pierce County Superior Court in December to prevent Michael Brando from obtaining his house's plans from county files. Judge James Orlando granted a preliminary injunction on Friday. A review hearing is scheduled for April 8th. Orlando will determine then if the injunction becomes permanent. Developers and the county say it's rare that action is taken to block the release of blueprints held by the county. Oak Ridge Homes, which has been building homes in the Pierce County area for more than 35 years, said that the plans include trade secrets. Non-disclosure of the blueprints and building plans is essential to protect the trade secrets contained therein and to protect Oak Ridge from the economic harm resulting from the public disclosure of those trade secrets, the complaint said. The injunction was filed against Pierce County, pulling in the prosecuting attorney's office to argue for the record's release. County attorneys said in their response that Oak Ridge had not demonstrated a likelihood that any portion of the requested records qualify as trade secrets. The records at issue are copies of building plans previously evaluated and approved by Pierce County staff that were submitted to the county for the purposes of issuing residential building permits in compliance with Pierce County's building code, according to the county's response. Brando feels frustrated and upset. He bought the home in July 2021 with the intention of doing some heavy remodeling, wanting to knock down walls and push out one room. Brando called Oak Ridge for the plans soon after the purchase, but the Gig Harbor company denied him. Oak Ridge Vice President Jeff Servin told the News Tribune the company offered to tell Brando which walls are crucial in lieu of handing out the blueprints. He said that homeowners are usually content with that. We've never experienced this issue, he said. The Master Builders Association of Pierce County told the newspaper that it's not common that a builder provide house blueprint plans. This is because the blueprint plans are copyrighted and considered intellectual property of the architect. Builders are granted use rights per home they build. Those rights are not transferable, said Bailey Wicks, the association's director of communications. People are free to submit a public records request for plans filed with Pierce County for permit approval. The plans are copyrighted, so the county must give the builder notice before filling the records request. County spokesperson Tara Long said, the state law allows the builder to file an injunction to prevent the plans from being released. Pierce County told the News Tribune that a builder filing an injunction for a house plan is extremely rare. The Master Builders Association of Pierce County agreed. It is a rare procedure that someone would attempt to get an injunction to get a public record from being obtained, she said. Oak Ridge is concerned that competitors could request the building plans, which include company secrets. Servin told the News Tribune that their housing plans include design instructions like how to avoid squeaky floors. That's our professional livelihood that is delineated in those plans, he said. Pierce County said that the public has an interest in reviewing the plans and approval decisions made by county employees. Homeowners may have an interest in reviewing their own plans to understand what materials were used and where they were being placed. Building plans can affect decisions by homeowners concerning earthquake or flood insurance. Homeowners and contractors have an interest in such plans for remodeling. Homeowners have an interest in determining whether construction matches the county-approved plans, the county argued in court filings. In January, Brando posted on his community Facebook page detailing steps to file for house plans. Levi Haregrove soon after also filed for a records request on his Oak Ridge home in the same city. He and 2 others were added to the injunction, one of whom has since reached an agreement with Oak Ridge outside of court. Hargrove wants to add another room and knock down a few walls. He doesn't want to do major work without the blueprints for the home detailing the locations of pipes and electrical lines running behind the walls. We wouldn't even dream of doing that blind, he told the News Tribune. He worries that Oak Ridge's hesitancy to share its plans means the builder did not follow the blueprints submitted. They seem to be just a little bit shady, he said. Since the injunction was filed, Brando has been able to take photos of the blueprints filed with Pierce County by scheduling a public record inspection to review the records at a county building. He now feels the case is more important than the blueprints. It's more about standing up to bullies. I feel like they're just being the bully here, he said. And that pretty much wraps up the article. This is an interesting one. I honestly did not realize that building plans were considered a piece of intellectual property. So that's something that I learned from this thing as we kind of get into it. Real quickly, before we jump into the discussion on this, I want to go ahead and define the difference between intellectual property and trade secrets, because those were both terms that were mentioned in the article here. Intellectual property, as defined by and this is an organization, the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO. They define intellectual property as the creations of the mind, such as inventions, literary and artistic works, design and symbols, names and images used in commerce. And I wanted to make sure I read that out correctly. There are different types of law that protect intellectual property, such as patent law, copyright law, and trademark law. And copyright law is what the builder is talking about here in this particular instance. A trade secret would be a specific type of intellectual property. So a trade secret could be something such as like a technique or a certain type of material that gets used, something along those lines that gives you a competitive advantage in the marketplace. A good example of this would be the 11 herbs and spices from KFC, or the recipe for Big Mac sauce, something along those lines. That would be considered a trade secret. The trade secret would be like the ingredients and the proportions of those ingredients that go into the recipe. That would be the actual trade secret. So now that we've kind of defined those terms, basically the entire rest of this video is my opinion. I'm not an attorney, I'm a real estate broker, but from where I'm sitting, here's kind of my take on this thing. So putting trade secrets into a set of blueprints would be, in my opinion, universally stupid. Everybody and their brother has access to blueprints while a property is being built. The general contractor has a set. The county has a set. That was talked about extensively in the article, that the county has a set that they have to review and approve. And everybody at the county who works in the building department has access to them. Every main subcontractor on the site either has a set of blueprints or has access to a set of blueprints, because they have to. That's the only way that they can do their job. That's how they know where the outlets are going and where the heat ducts are running and things like that. So claiming that there are trade secrets in these blueprints honestly sounds a little bit too much to me. It seems a little bit ridiculous to me. You're exposing your trade secrets to literally every single contractor that comes in on that build, or any build using the same blueprints, because it's not like, unless you're building a custom home, these blueprints are used in multiple sites around the country. So they do talk about trade secrets such as how to prevent floors from squeaking. That was the example that they gave. Isn't that something that your builder should know how to do without putting it in writing in a set of building plans? Like, this, again, this might just be something that I'm missing, but I can't see why a builder would leave notes in the plans for other vendors to come in talking about how to do something like prevent squeaky floors. That's something that you should know how to do as part of your trade. I could see notes being left for vendors on why something needs to be run a certain way. Maybe you need a certain amount of clearance around a particular appliance or something like that. That would be a note that might make sense. But something like squeaky floors, your builder should know how to do their craft and install floors that don't squeak. Really, I think this whole thing about trade secrets is a big stretch. It's also worth noting that you can reverse engineer a set of building plans if you have to. It's not fun, but it's definitely within the realm of capabilities for any sort of an engineer or a structural engineer or an architect or something along those lines. For instance, when we were doing a planned rehab in one of our buildings, we needed to get site plans drawn up showing what we were attempting to do so that they could be sent to the county for approval. An architect came in and rebuilt the necessary part of the floor plan using the existing measurements, walked around with a tape measure and took measurements as needed, and rebuilt that set of floor plans, at least that area of the property that we needed to have floor plans for, took those measurements, dropped it into CAD, and generated us a new set of floor plans using the existing dimensions. So it's not as if you can't get a complete set of floor plans once a building is complete. It's just a lot cheaper and a lot easier to work from a set of plans that already exists and has already been done. One thing that was mentioned in this article that I find interesting is that builders end up getting granted what's called use rights for the home plans that they license, and then each license appears to be only valid for the building of one home. So I take it that this builder may actually be purchasing a license. Maybe they're not building their own floor plans, because it's not cheap to get a set of floor plans, especially when you're talking about floor plans that can be reused time and time and time again. The nice thing is you're doing that if you're a builder and you have multiple homes using the same floor plan. Yeah, you can generally reuse that same set of plans with maybe some minor changes that need to be made or something like that. That's a viable option. But I think what may have been happening here is I think that this builder may have been purchasing their plans from a third party further up the food chain and not having custom plans drawn themselves, which is why they can't necessarily release a set of plans to this homeowner, because they don't own the rights to be able to release it. They only own a license for the building of that home. Now that the home is complete, either their license is expired or their license is limited as to what they can do with those floor plans, or whatever the case may be. I know that you can go online and buy complete sets of floor plans for homes. I'm kind of guessing that that's what happened here. Or maybe they had an architect draw up a set of plans a long time ago and they just keep reusing them and they have to pay a licensing fee to that architect. Ultimately, I'm not sure, but that's kind of what it sounds like here. Either way, it's a completely messed up situation. You would think that once you own your home, that you should be able to get a copy of your floor plans from the county if they have them on file, because it's a public record. But apparently that's not the case, at least in the great state of Washington. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it. If you learned something today, or if you found this style of video interesting, where we cover a news article as opposed to maybe a current topic or something like that, we could do a current topic as opposed to doing a property management related item every week. If this is something that you guys like, let us know and we'll do some more of these. If you have a friend or family member that might be interested, do us a favor and share this with them. Questions or comments, drop them below. We'll talk to you soon.